Translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Suttacentral.net and suttas.com. DN 34, De Suttara Sutta. Expanding Decades. Thus have I heard. Once the Lord was staying at Kampa beside the Gagara lotus pond, with a large company of 500 monks. At that moment, Venerable Sariputta addressed the monks, "Friends, monks. In growing groups from 1 to 10 I'll teach Dhamma. For the gaining of Nibbana, that you may make an end of suffering and be free from all the ties that bind. There is, friends, 10 sets of one thing. One thing that greatly helps, bahu-karo, tirelessness in wholesome states, appamado kusalesu dhammesu. 2. One thing to be developed, bhavetabbo mindfulness with regard to the body, accompanied by pleasure, kaya-gata sata-sahagata. 3. One thing to be thoroughly known, parinneyyo contact as a condition of the corruptions and of grasping, phasso siiaavo upadaniyo. 4. One thing to be abandoned, pahatabbo Ego-conceit, asmi-mana. 5. One thing that conduces to diminution, hana-bhagiyo unwise attention, ayoniso manasikaro. 6. One thing that conduces to distinction, visesa-bhagiyo wise attention, yoniso manasikaro. 7. One thing hard to penetrate, duppativijjho uninterrupted mental concentration, anantariko ceto-samadhi. 8. One thing to be made to arise, upadaniyo unshakable knowledge, appamado. 9. One thing to be thoroughly learnt, appamado all beings are maintained by nutriment. 10. One thing to be realized, sata-sahagata unshakable deliverance of mind, appamado. That makes 10 things that are real and true, so and not otherwise, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 2 things greatly help? 2 things are to be developed. 1. 2 things that greatly help, mindfulness and clear awareness. 2. 2 things to be developed, calm and insight. 3. 2 things to be thoroughly known, mind and body. 4. 2 things to be abandoned, ignorance and craving for existence. 5. 2 things conduce to diminution, roughness and friendship with evil. 6. 2 things conduce to distinction, gentleness and friendship with good. 7. 2 things that are hard to penetrate, that which is the root, the condition of the defilement of beings, and that which is the root, the condition of the purification of beings. Yosiahichu satanam samkile satanam visudaya. 8. 2 things are to be made to arise, knowledge of the destruction of the defilements and of their non-recurrence. 9. 2 things are to be thoroughly learnt, 2 elements, the conditioned and the unconditioned, sankhata siiaavo asankata siiaavo. 10. 2 things are to be realized, knowledge and liberation. That makes 20 things that are real and true, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 3 things greatly help? 3 things are to be developed. 1. 3 things that greatly help, association with good people, hearing the true Dhamma, practice of the Dhamma in its entirety. 2. 3 things are to be developed, 3 kinds of concentration. 3. 3 things are to be thoroughly known, 3 feelings. 4. 3 things are to be abandoned, 3 kinds of craving, existence, non-existence, and sense pleasures. 5. 3 things conduce to diminution, 3 unwholesome roots, greed, hatred, and delusion. 6. 3 things conduce to distinction, 3 wholesome roots, generosity, loving kindness, and non-delusion. 7. 3 things that are hard to penetrate, 3 elements making for deliverance, nisaraniyadattuyo. A. Deliverance from sensuality, kama, that is, renunciation, nekhamam. B. Deliverance from material forms, rupa, that is, the immaterial, arupam. C. Whatever has become, is compounded, is conditionally arisen. The deliverance from that is cessation, niraho. 8. 3 things to be made to arise, 3 knowledges, nanani, of past, future, present. 9. 3 things are to be thoroughly learnt, 3 elements. 10. 3 things are to be realized, 3 knowledges, as Sutta 33. That makes 30 things that are real and true, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 4 things greatly help? 4 things are to be developed. 1. 4 things that greatly help, 4 wheels, kaka-enai. A. A favorable place of residence, pataripadisa. Vaso. B. Association with good people, sapariso-passayo. C. Perfect development of one's personality, attasamapanati, past meritorious actions, pubkatapunnata. 2. 4 things are to be developed, 4 foundations of mindfulness. 3. 4 things are to be thoroughly known, 4 nutriments. 4. 4 things are to be abandoned, 4 floods, as Sutta 33. 5. 4 things that conduce to diminution, 4 yokes, as Sutta 33. 6. 4 things conduce to distinction, 4 unyokings, as Sutta 33. 7. 4 things that are hard to penetrate, 4 concentrations. A. Conducing to decline, hana-bhagiyo. B. Conducing to stasis, duppativijjho. C. Conducive to distinction, visesa-bhagiyo. D. Conducive to penetration, hana-bhagiyo. 8. 4 things are to be made to arise, 4 knowledges. 9. 4 things are to be thoroughly learnt, 4 noble truths. 10. 4 things are to be realized, 4 fruits of the ascetic life that makes 40 things that are real and true, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 5 things that greatly help? 5 things are to be developed. 1. 5 things that greatly help, 5 factors of endeavor. 2. 5 things to be developed, 5-fold. Perfect concentration, A. Suffusion with delight, piti. B. Suffusion with happiness, sukha. C. Suffusion with will, ceto. D. Suffusion with light, aloka. E. The reviewing sign, pakavekhananimita. 3. 5 things are to be thoroughly known, 5 aggregates of grasping. 4. 5 things are to be abandoned, 5 hindrances. 5. 5 things conduce to diminution, 5 mental blockages. 6. 5 things conduce to distinction, 5 faculties. 7. 5 things that are hard to penetrate, 5 elements making for deliverance. 8. 5 things that are to be made to arise, the 5-fold knowledge of right concentration. Pankananiko sama-samadhi, the knowledge that arises within one that A. This concentration is both present happiness and productive of future resultant happiness, ayoniso sukha vipako. B. This concentration is aryan and free from worldliness, niramiso. C. This concentration is not practiced by the unworth, akapurisa-sevato. D. This concentration is calm and perfect, has attained tranquilization, has attained unification. And is not instigated, it cannot be denied or prevented. E. I, myself attain this concentration with mindfulness, and emerge from it with mindfulness. 9. 5 things are to be thoroughly learnt, 5 bases of deliverance. 10. 5 things are to be realized, 5 branches of Dhamma plus knowledge and vision of liberation, vimutti-nanadasanakandho. That makes 50 things that are real and true, and not otherwise, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 6 things that greatly help? 6 things are to be developed. I. 6 things that greatly help, 6 things to be remembered, as Sutta 33. 2. 6 things that are to be developed, 6 subjects of recollection, as Sutta 33. 3. 6 things to be thoroughly known, 6 internal sense spheres. 4. 6 things to be abandoned, 6 groups of craving. 5. 6 things conduce to diminution, 6 kinds of disrespect. 6. 6 things conduce to distinction, 6 kinds of respect. 7. 6 things that are hard to penetrate, 6 elements making for deliverance. 8. 6 things to be made to arise, 6 stable states. 9. 6 things are to be thoroughly known, 6 unsurpassed things. 10. 6 things are to be realized, 6 super-knowledges. Abhina here, a monk applies and bends his mind to, and enjoys, different supernormal powers, iti, as sutta 2. A. Being one, he becomes many. B. With the divine ear he hears sounds both divine and human. C. He knows and distinguishes the minds of other beings. D. He remembers past existences. E. With the divine eye. He sees beings passing away and arising. F. He abides, in this life, by his own superknowledge and realization, in the attainment of the corruption-less liberation of heart and liberation through wisdom. That makes 60 things that are real and true, unerringly and perfectly realized by the Tathagata. What are the 7 things that help greatly? 7 things are to be developed. 1. 7 things greatly help, 7 treasures. 2. 7 things are to be developed, 7 factors of enlightenment. 3. 7 things are to be thoroughly known, 7 stations of consciousness. 4. 7 things are to be abandoned, 7 latent proclivities. 5. 7 things conduce to diminution, 7 wrong practices. 6. 7 things conduce to distinction, 7 right practices. 7. 7 things that are hard to penetrate, 7 qualities of the true man. 8. 7 things to be made to arise, 7 perceptions. 9. 7 things are to be thoroughly learnt, 7 grounds for commendation. 10. 7 things are to be learnt, 7 powers of an arahant, kainasava-balani. Here, for a monk who has destroyed the corruptions. A. The impermanence nature of all compounded things is well seen by perfect insight. This is one way whereby he recognizes that for him the corruptions are destroyed. B. Sense desires are well seen as being like a pit of glowing embers. C. His heart, citam, is bent on and inclined towards detachment, vivka, rejoicing in renunciation, nekamabhiratam, his heart is totally unreceptive to all things pertaining to the corruptions. D. The 4 foundations of mindfulness have been well and truly developed.